I tend to do a lot of building on Twitch, and you will not believe the amount of times that I have been told, CJ, I'm not good at building. CJ, I don't like it. How do you build in The Sims? You make it look so easy. Listen, anybody can build in The Sims. You just gotta know the fundamentals, okay? So I thought I would make a video explaining how to build in The Sims 3. Now, these tips can also work for Sims 2 and Sims 4, and maybe even the first Sims game if you're still playing it. So you can apply this to other games if you want to. But I'm just gonna be showing The Sims 3 since that's the one I play the most. So I'm gonna show y'all how to build 2 easy houses in The Sims 3. Okay, so when it comes to building in The Sims, you kind of have to decide on whether or not you want to have a foundation for your build, because in The Sims 4, you don't really have to worry about it because the game can make you a foundation. You can just drag it up, drag it down. Sims 3 and Sims 2 is like, no, you got to put it down before, which is kind of, you know, how it is in real life, I guess. But anyway, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with the first house. So the first house I'm going to show y'all how to build is called, or I like to call it, an L-shaped house because it's shaped like, you know, the letter L. If you want to follow along at home, feel free to. So I am going to do why don't we do like an 8 by 21? Okay, that's kind of small, but it's good enough. So next up, I want to add a bump out to give the house a little bit of dimension. Otherwise, it's just going to be a rectangle. So you can honestly put the bump out wherever you want to, but I like to pick the left or the right. So I think for today, I'm just going to put it on the right side of the house. So I think I'm going to do a 3 by 8. I feel like that's going to be good enough, right? We'll do a 3 by 8. And you know what? Let me make this actually one tile bigger so I can have a little bit more space, okay? So the build itself is a 9 by 21, and then I have a 2 by 8 if you want to just do it that way, okay? So next up is drawing the walls. Honestly, if you wanted to, you could just go to create room and drag it out like this, and you could be done with it, honestly. But I'm not gonna do that because I kind of want to just draw the walls for y'all today. So usually what I like to do is I like to pick this little corner piece over here, where like the square meets the rectangle. So I am going to just start here. So we're going to go ahead and just draw the walls, make sure everything is covered in the back of the house like this. And we're going to go ahead and stop right here, and we're going to make the walls connect. Now you may have noticed that we have a little bit of space right here on the front porch. And the reason why I did that is because normally what I like to do is I like to just leave one space for the stairs and the door. So unless you have move objects turned on, you can't really put a door super close to stairs. So if you have the stairs, you can't, like, for example, put a 2-tile door like right here. You know, it's not gonna work. You can put it like over here, but as soon as you put stairs, it's just not gonna work unless you use move objects. But I'm not gonna use move objects for this tutorial just because we're not gonna use it. So what I like to do is we're just gonna go ahead and let's just put like a really simple door. We'll use this one from University Life. We'll put this door like right here, and then next we're just gonna put some stairs. So I guess I'll just use these stairs. So these are like the home style ones from the base game. We'll use these, and I think I'm gonna like put them like right here. I'm gonna try to put them in the center like this, and then as you can see we have empty space, which I am just gonna fill in with a fence. So we'll just do something like this to give ourselves a little bit of a porch. But now let me go ahead and talk about this roofing situation, because I am not a fan of this roof. I don't really like using hipped roofs that much in The Sims. Nothing against them, I just don't really like using them all too often. And I know, like, when it comes to roofing, it can kind of be daunting for a lot of simmers out there. Like, roofing can make or break a build sometimes. So luckily a house like this, you don't really have much to do. You can't really like mess it up too much, I don't think. So when it comes to roofing in The Sims, what I like to do is I try to find like the biggest piece of the build. So for example, let me just put some floor down so y'all can see. For example, we'll just put a floor down. So as you can see, this right here, this rectangle piece right here is the biggest part of the build. So usually when I roof in the game, I try to fill this part up first, and then everything else that doesn't have a roof, I try to just make roofs connect to it so it makes sense. Kind of like how you put together a puzzle or something like that. So for the sake of this tutorial, we're just going to use this gabled roof, and we're just going to drag it right over here, right? Bam. Now, the next thing I want to do is used another gabled roof. Now, if you wanted to, you could use the tall gabled roof. They're honestly the same. However, with a tall gabled roof, if you drag it out a little bit too much, there is a chance that it will rotate. So yeah, so as you can see, an 8 by 8, the game will try to rotate it sideways, and I don't always like that. So usually I'll just end up using the regular gabled roof, but honestly it doesn't really matter. It just depends on what you want. If you do it this way, there's a chance that it will clip a little bit. So you might want to like drag it down a little bit like that so it doesn't clip as much. But honestly, it's it really just depends on like what you want for your own Sims build. So when it comes to windows in The Sims, I feel like that can also be kind of confusing because you don't really know how many windows you want to use. You don't really know what one you want to use. You don't really know like how to make it look good. And honestly, there's a lot of windows in the game that I've never used before because I'm just not a fan of them, if that makes sense. So I understand, but I'm gonna try to help y'all a little bit, okay? So I think I'm gonna end up using these classy glassy windows from Showtime for this tutorial. Again, if you don't have all the packs installed, you can just use whatever you want to. I like to use these Showtime windows because I feel like they're a really good height, but honestly, you could always just use the back to basic windows from the base game, which honestly, I might end up using these instead. You know what? Let's use the base game windows instead. These are a little bit thicker. So usually what I like to do is I'll put maybe like 2 windows kind of like this sometime, and I'll try to figure out how I want this build to look. So maybe I'll put 2 over here, and then maybe I'll like put 2 here, just so it can kind of look a little even. Now, when it comes to windows like this that have like a little metal piece, you kind of want to be careful in a way. Again, it's The Sims, so it really doesn't matter. Your Sim won't care. But these little metal pieces right here are meant to go on the inside of the house, so you might want to rotate them, you know, just like that, so it doesn't look too weird. But it's a little small detail, okay? So we have our 2 windows out here in the front. I kind of want to put some more windows in the front of the house because it kind of needs it. So I think I'm gonna just put maybe 2 windows right here for right now. Let me rotate that so it, you know, so that little metal piece can go on the inside. So I think also what I want to do is I maybe want to put maybe like 2 or maybe like 3 windows on this wall. It really just depends on what feels good to you. I like to put 3 because it kind of fills in some of the empty space on the outside. Maybe I'll put like 2 windows here, and maybe I'll put like 2 back here. Again, it really just depends on like kind of what the floor plan needs. So you might end up moving windows anyway. That is normal. It happens a lot. And then maybe I'll put like 3 windows over here on this wall. Okay, we'll do something like that for right now. Maybe I will put 2 windows right here because I feel like it kind of needs it. It needs something on that side of the wall. Okay, well, we have our windows and we have our doors. Again, you can always recolor it to make it look however you want to. Now, when it comes to wallpaper, it's kind of similar to how it is with windows and doors. You put what feels good to you. I'm not here to tell you that you're right or wrong for choosing any wallpaper or anything like that. It's your Sims build. You make it how you want to. But usually I like to use paneling for my houses in The Sims because I like to have white borders on the outside. So I like to sometimes use this horizontal clapboard. So this is in the base game. So we're just going to use this one, and I'm going to cover up the whole entire house with it. You may also notice that you have these 2 wallpapers that are on the outsides of it. So you have one that has a left edge and you have one called right edge, right? These pieces are meant to go on the corners of the build to kind of give it a little bit of dimension and to kind of make it look a little bit better, if that makes sense. So usually I'll just like to follow the corners of the build, and I try to like make them connect, if that makes sense. Sometimes I like for this little edge piece to kind of touch the ground. So sometimes what I will do is I will color the foundation right here so it can kind of, you know, match a little bit. But we will just go ahead, go to the corner pieces, and we will just make it connect like so. So you do this for every, you don't have to do this, you don't really have to do this for every corner piece if you don't want to. It is kind of expensive in a way because it costs money for every time you put it. But I mean, if you want your build to look a certain type of way like me, then that might be something that you want to do. Now, next I'm going to just change the roofing color. Again, it just depends on what you want. I think I'm just going to go with something black like this. I need to honestly change the color of these windows. You know what? Let me change the color of these windows real quick. All right, next up, I'm just going to recolor the stairs and the railing just so they can kind of blend in a little bit more. I think I'm just going to make them gray. So when it comes to recoloring like the railings and stuff like that, sometimes what I like to do is I'll copy the style of the stair and I'll just drag it to one part of the stair railing. And then when I do that, I'll click on the railing with the create a style tool. I'll hit the save button right here. I've already saved it, but I'll hit the save button. And then what I'll do is I'll just come over here and then I'll just scroll to the one I just saved, and it will like automatically color like all the rest of the railings. So that's like a really quick way to just do it if you didn't know. But as you can see, we have our house. Now, why don't we go ahead and open it up really quick? So the last thing I want to talk about is floor plans. Now, floor plans, I know, can be very daunting in The Sims. There's a lot of different ways you can do them, and I don't want to say that there's like a right or wrong way to make a floor plan because, again, it really just depends on what you need for your Sim and your household and what your own unique style is. So, again, I'm not saying you're wrong or right. So, sometimes what I like to do when it comes to building in The Sims is I try to use what the game gives me or like what the shape of the build gives me. So, for example, we have this little corner piece right here. This comes from like when I built the walls. So, sometimes I like to use this little piece right here as a starting point. So a lot of the times when I do L-shaped houses, I will use this part of the house to be like a kitchen area. So sometimes what I like to do is I'll draw my wall like so, and then sometimes I'll stop, and then I will just drag it like so, right? I'll just drag it to make a pretty big kitchen. And then as you can see, we have this extra space here. Sometimes I like to just cover it off like this, and maybe this could be like a bedroom, this could be like a kitchen if I wanted it to be, or sometimes I might draw it out and I can stop like right here. So I think what I want to do for this build is I'm just gonna draw up 2 tiles like this, and I'm gonna just make it connect right here to the window, to the first window. Now again, I'm probably gonna have to move these windows, so be prepared for them to move. But I'll do something like this because I kind of want to make a little hallway. So the next thing that I want to do is I'll draw another line like right here, and I'll just make this go into the wall, and then maybe I'll connect this. So you have a hallway that leads you to the kitchen, and then you have like this extra room right here. So maybe I will do something like this. I'll draw a wall in the middle of it so we can have 2 bedrooms. So now if I wanted to, I can have like a bedroom, maybe like a bathroom, and then you'll have like, you could put a door here if you want to for the kitchen, but usually what I like to do for kitchens and some of my living rooms is I'll put an archway. So I will just use this base game archway, or you know what, let's use like a 2-tiled archway, just because I'll use a 2-tile, and then maybe I'll use like another 2-tile. So you can have 2 bedrooms, a bedroom and a bathroom. You have an entrance to your kitchen, and then you have like a lot of empty space over here on this side of the house. Again, it really just depends on what you want for your Sims build. Honestly, you could just use this like as a living room. You can have the TV be like on this wall. You can have the TV be over here on this wall. So it really just depends on what you want. But I think I might just make 2 more bedrooms just because. So I will draw another line out, right? So we'll do a 4x0 and we'll just connect it to the wall like so. So we have 2 more bedrooms. So you might want to move, I might want to move some of these windows. Let me just move these like right here. I might want to get like 2 more windows real quick. Let me get like 2 more, and then maybe I'll put like a window here in the bedroom. Maybe I'll like move this window here, and maybe we'll put like 1 right there. And then last but not least, I'll just put my doors up. That's pretty much it, y'all. The house is pretty much done. You could use this area right here for a living room. We can have 2 bedrooms. You know what? Let me just put some furniture down so you can get like an idea of what I'm talking about. So again, this is not gonna be like a nice furnished house or anything. So we can have like our bed here, you know, in this room. If you wanted to, you can make this like another bedroom, or maybe like a nursery if you want to. Let's make it a nursery just because. We'll put like a crib here. Maybe we'll make this the bathroom since we do need a bathroom in this house. We'll put a shower like so, and then maybe I will put like some countertops in here. Maybe I'll have like 3 of them maybe, and then I can have my toilet over here on this wall, and then that's pretty much it. You could also use this piece right here to put a tub if you wanted to. Like say for example, you don't really want to have a shower, you can always just put a tub down if you would like to. So it really just depends on what, you know, works for you, but I'm just gonna put a shower just in case. Let me put some lights in here too, because it's kind of dark. Usually what I like to do when I build in The Sims is I'll use a thing called debug lights. So to use debug lights, you want to make sure you have test and cheats turned on. Do test and cheats enabled. Then after you have the cheat code turned on, you want to do by debug, and then you do a space, and then you do on, and then it'll bring up this little like thing right here with a question mark. And I like to go to miscellaneous objects, and then I just like to use these debug lights. The reason why I use these is because it makes the build a little bit brighter. If I turn the lights off, as you can see, like this part of the house has a debug light, so it just makes it brighter. This part doesn't really. And also debug lights are free. So if you're ever like, you know, on a budget and you don't really want to use a lot of money or spend a lot of money on lights and stuff like that, then you could always just use debug lights instead, which honestly I think I'm just going to do that. Maybe I'll put this one in the middle like that. There we go. Or honestly, we could just get rid of it. Let's get rid of it. I'm going to go ahead and make the kitchen really quick. When it comes to doing like countertops and stuff like that, you kind of just want to pick what feels right to you. There's really no right or wrong way, in my opinion, to do like a kitchen. You know, you just need countertops, stove, and a fridge. But I'll just do something like this. And then I sometimes like to have a really big table in my Sims build. So maybe I'll just use like this one. And then I'll just put some chairs. I am sorry if this is like kind of annoying, but I don't really know like what y'all know and what y'all don't really know, so I kind of just want to explain everything. But as you can see, we have our kitchen, and then maybe I'll just put like a trash can up in the corner. So bam, you got a kitchen. Last but not least, we'll go ahead and make the living room. It really doesn't matter what you do, but I think what I'll do is I'll just use this little empty space right here to put my TV. So we'll use a TV like this, maybe. I think I might want to make it come out from the wall a little bit. So we'll have a TV, and then why don't we use some couches? Why don't I get like this really big couch right here, and then maybe I'll put like a smaller one beside it, kind of, and then maybe I'll make a little L shape with the furniture like that, because if you see, you have like this little extra space right here. Sometimes what I like to do is I'll put an end table. Sometimes I'll put one like this in the corner, just so I think it'll look nice, and then sometimes I'll put like a plant on top of it. Maybe I'll put like a plant like this on it, just so it can kind of look nice. Then you have like extra space, so if you want to, you could put like maybe a bookshelf somewhere. So let me get like a bookshelf really quick. Maybe I will put like a nice bookshelf like right over here in between the doors. You have something for your Sims to use. But honestly, it really just depends on what you want for furnishing. And then sometimes if I found I have like a little bit too much space, I might want to put like a rug down. So maybe I'll get like a big rug, kind of like this, just to kind of fill in some empty space. Now, keep in mind, if the TV is too far away from the couch, sometimes your Sims won't want to use it. So you might have to pull the TV up a little bit, or like move it back, or, you know, you kind of do as you do, if that makes sense. So you might find yourself having to move the TV a little bit, because sometimes Sims in The Sims 3, they like to be close to the TV apparently. If you see your Sims like standing up to use the TV instead of sitting down, you might want to just, you know, move the couch a little bit or something like that, or move the TV out. Now, when it comes to wallpaper and flooring, you kind of just want to put down what feels good to you. Sometimes I like to have the same wallpaper go throughout the whole entire house. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll like slightly change the color in the bedrooms just to make it look a little bit different. So maybe I'll make like, for example, this room red for the nursery. Like it uses the same wallpaper with the same border, but the inside of the room just looks a little bit different, just so it won't look the same. But honestly, it just depends on what you want for your Sims build and how you want it to look and stuff like that. So I'm not here to tell you again that you're right or wrong for whatever you do, but a lot of stuff is just like stylistic, if that makes sense. So when it comes to doing landscaping and stuff like that, it's really, again, no right or wrong answer. You kind of just do what feels natural. I feel like a lot of times when it comes to landscaping, people get kind of confused. They don't know how to make it look right. I know sometimes people will end up using a lot of different flowers. Again, do what you want to do. But what I like to do is I try to use the same flowers or trees, just repeating over, sometimes in a pattern, sometimes in a design. If you think about like real life places like, you know, stores or apartment complexes or banks, a lot of the times when they have flowers out or landscaping, you'll see the same flowers over and over again. If you think about even this little area over here, it uses the same pink flowers and shrubs, the same trees all in the same area. You do what you want to do, but that's kind of how I like to think about it. So maybe I will use this spruce tree, for example. I'll put one like maybe right here by the house. Maybe I will put like another one over here like in the front yard, or maybe like up against the house maybe. And then if I have like a lot of extra space in the backyard, sometimes I'll put like another one here just because, just to kind of fill in some of the lot a little bit. And then when it comes to like flowers and plants and stuff like that, what I usually like to do is I'll go to the flower category and I try to find these low-lying flowers. So we have these heathers, we have these, what is this called? The perennial heather. So it's like a yellow heather, and then we have the purple heathers, right? These are usually what I like to go to when I do landscaping in the Sims. Now, when it comes to picking which one I want, I try to pick the one that looks the best up against the house, or like it complements the house. So, I mean, the house is white, so maybe like the yellow ones might look the best. I don't know. It just depends on what you want. But I usually like to use some of these, and I'll just put them up underneath the house if I can help it. Now, you kind of need to be careful when you do something like this, because you don't want it to clip inside your house. So sometimes you might want to like go inside your house just to make sure that it's not clipping on the inside. I don't think I have any clipping here, but sometimes you just might, you know, you might want to keep that in mind. Honestly, I could just leave this alone and call it a day, but I'm kind of feeling adventurous, okay? I want to put something different. Maybe I will put another like shrub or something. Now I gotta find one that looks good against the house. Maybe I want to use these, what is this called? The azalea. Maybe I want to use an azalea. And then maybe I might put like one over here in this little angle like that. So if you want to keep getting plants without having to pick them each time individually, sometimes the game will do it for you, but usually what I like to do is I'll just pick what one I want, and I'll just hold down the Alt button, and it'll keep giving me plants. So maybe I will use like a smaller one like right here in the front of the house, kind of. Again, when it comes to landscaping, you just want to pick what looks good to you. I ended up moving these a little bit farther away from the house, but maybe I'll put like one here, and then maybe I'll put like one right there. I feel like that's a little bit too much landscaping, but you get the idea, right? Hopefully you get the idea of what I'm trying to go for. But yeah, basically that's it though. This house is done. So let's go ahead and move on to the second style of house that I want to show y'all. If you want this house, I'm gonna leave it linked down below. I mean, it's not that furnished on the inside, but maybe you want like a house that you can like work off of, so I'll just give you this one. So I'll leave this one linked down below. So for the second house, I went ahead and I moved to a different lot. The last house was on a 30 by 30. This is a 30 by 40 lot. I kind of just wanted something a little bit bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing that I did last time. We're going to go ahead and draw out, let's do like a slightly smaller rectangle. We'll do a 16 by 9. And then we will go ahead and we will do a 9 by 2. We'll do something like this. And let's go ahead and I kind of want to get like a deck space. So I'll get the deck foundation. Let's do a 7 by 3. So we have like a little deck space in the back. And as you can see, it's still the L shape, but I'm going to add a little extra bump outs to this build. So I'm going to come over here to the side of the house and I'm going to go ahead and do a, let's do a 4 by 6. We'll do a 4 by 6. So I'm going to just start back here first. And I'm just going to go ahead and I'm not going to circle around this room just yet. I'll show y'all why in a bit. But I'm going to go ahead and just do my house like I did normally. Let me save like 2 tile spaces for this and we'll circle it off like that. The reason why I'm doing this one separately is because I want to show y'all, if you do something like this where you do this room separately, you kind of have the floor plan made up for you, which honestly, I could leave the build alone, but what if I just added like another little bump out over here on this side? Why don't we do a 4 by 5 over here on this side of the house, just so we can have a little extra space. We can go ahead and just like circle it in. You could use the creator room tool if you want to. It really just depends on what you want to do. And as you can see, we pretty much have the same L shape, but it's a little bit fancier, okay? We added some bump outs. And the reason why I do houses like this sometimes is because when you do it like this, you kind of have the floor plan made up for you. So you have like a room here, you have a room here. You could do the same thing if you wanted to make this like the kitchen if you want to. Then if you wanted to, you can add like extra stuff. So you can come over here and then maybe we can add like a little small bathroom, or maybe I can make it like 1 tile bigger. We can make like a little small bathroom. So sometimes what I like to do if I have like a back deck space is I'll add some sliding doors. So let me get the ones from the base game. I'll add some sliding doors back out here to the deck. And then, of course, you can put like your front door here if you want to. And it's pretty much it. So I know some of y'all are like, CJ, how the heck do you roof this? You do it in the same exact way that you always do. You go ahead and you do the biggest piece first. Now, this build is a little uneven, so you're going to have to, the roof might come over a little bit. But you want to start over here in this corner, drag your roof, just like this. And I think we'll stop it right there. So I don't think it goes over too much, but we'll do something like that. Get the biggest piece first, and then let's go to the second biggest piece. So I think for this one, I might use the tall gable roof this time. And I'm just going to make sure it goes in a little bit. We're going to go ahead and like lower it down a little bit like that. So you can also either use the tall gable roof for this one, or you could just use the other one. I guess it really doesn't matter, but I think I'm just going to use this, and I'm just going to make it go in a little bit like so. Okay. And I might lower it down a little bit like so, just a little bit. And then we will go over here and we'll do the same exact thing. We'll take the gable roof, we'll drag it in like so. And we really don't have to pitch it too much. You could make it go down a little bit if you want to. But as you can see, you have the house pretty much done for you. And then, of course, you know, to kind of finish the house off a little bit, we can add a fence and some stairs. So I think I might add the stairs first. That's usually what I'll do. I think I kind of want them to connect to the wall piece over here. So maybe I'll do a 4, or maybe I'll do like a 5. We'll do like a 5 with staircase like so. And then I'll go ahead and add my railings, and we'll just make them connect to the house. And then in the backyard, I'll pretty much do the same exact thing. Maybe I'll do something like this, so you can have like a little stair, you know? So we'll use the same stairs from the front yard. I think we'll just do like a 3 tile for this one. There you go. And then you have a deck space. So you could put like a grill back here. You could put some furniture. So it really just depends on what you want to do. But honestly, y'all, that is it for this tutorial. I mean, I'm not gonna like furnish this house or anything like that. I'll let y'all do it. Use the same concepts that I taught you earlier when it comes to the windows. You know, you do what feels right to you. But I will leave this house also linked down below. And then as y'all can see, just to reiterate, you kind of have the floor plan made up for you when you do houses like this. I like to call this like a block house because you still start out with the L shape, but you just end up adding some extra, you know, stuff on the outside. You know, it's kind of cool. You can also just take the other house that we just built and do the same exact thing. Just, you know, you have the L, you add bump outs. It also works that way. But anyway, y'all, that is all that I have for this video. Hopefully you learned something. If y'all would like to, I could do like a follow-up video to this one and like go over some more stuff if y'all would like to. But anyway, y'all, that is all that I have for this video, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye! Thanks for watching.